it's Daniela, and this week's theme on WowzerfyingSquad is freestyle. So, if you couldn't tell by my very customer service voice and huge smile, today's video is going to be all about working retail. Specifically, it's going to be my retail pet peeves. I just started a job at Five Below, and also I worked at Target last year, and I was a cashier. So I have some experience under my belt of working retail, and I've also accumulated several pet peeves, probably more than I should. This video is probably going to be 30 minutes long, and it's probably going to be very sassy and very ranty and rambly. So yeah, so if that's not your thing, then don't watch this video. Simple. So my first pet peeve is when customers complain to me about prices or store policies, or really this goes for anything that like I cannot control. But those are like the two main ones that people complain about. Like when people come up to me and they're like, oh, this thing should be cheaper, or like you'll need to lower your prices, or if there's like a store policy and like they don't like that, chances are we don't like it either, but we have to follow it or else we're gonna get written up. So yeah, so lady, I have no control over the prices. Like, I'm not corporate. If you have a problem with something, please like call corporate and take it up with them. Like, I am literally just doing my job, and I literally like just work here. I'm not like the end all be all person of Five Below or Target or whatever. Like, I literally just work here. Like, I'm literally like the lowest on the totem pole in terms of like this company. Like, I am not the person. Like, do I look like the person that comes up with the prices? No. I'm literally just checking your stuff out. Like, that's all I'm doing. Like, all the prices and the policies and whatever, that is above my pay grade. So yeah, so please don't like expect me to like change that or something, because I literally cannot. Now, it's one thing if a price is marked wrong or something, then yeah, like there's ways to fix that. But if you just don't like the price of something, like, I'm sorry, like I can't. Next one is when people try to make jokes that they think they're so original, but they're jokes that like we have heard like 1,000 times. Like, a perfect example of this is like, say it's like really slow in the store at the moment, and I don't have like a huge line of people at my lane, and someone comes to my lane about to check out, and they think they're so funny and original, and they say something along the lines of,
"You look bored, let me give you something to do."
Like, I'm sorry, you're not funny, you're not a stand-up comedian. Like I'm sorry, I've heard that joke a billion times already. It was not funny the first 400 times, it's not funny now. You are not original, you're not the first person to come up with that. Or another one, say an item like doesn't have a barcode, or a barcode like isn't scanning or something, and someone makes the joke,
"Well, it has no barcode. I guess that means it's free."
No, it's not. And I know like they're joking. I know they don't actually think it's free, but it's just a really dumb joke that was boring and old the first 500 times I've heard it. Like, you're not funny, you're not original, stop it. The next one. This one specifically applies to Target. This one does not apply to Five Below, because Five Below does not have conveyor belts. I hate when people do not use the frickin' dividers. You know those little plastic divider thingies that they have at checkouts that you're supposed to put in between your stuff and the person in front of you stuff to separate it, so that the cashier knows where your stuff starts and the previous person's stuff ends? You know those little plastic thingies? Yeah, you're supposed to use those. If you don't use those, you're making your cashier's life a whole lot harder. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have eyes in the back of my head. I'm trying to pay attention to scanning the previous customer's items. I can't pay attention to when you set your stuff down and what the first thing you set down. Like, I can't pay attention to everything. I'm only one person. And And if you're gonna try and argue with me about how it's my job, like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I do my job to the best of my ability, and it's courteous to make my job a bit easier if you can reasonably do it. And those dividers are there for a reason. They're there so that your stuff is separated and I don't accidentally start scanning your stuff as I'm still scanning the other person's stuff. Just use the dividers. It's not that hard. And if there are no dividers available for whatever reason, like if there's none there are other things you can do, such as, one, you can wait until I finish with the person in front of you and then set your stuff down, or you can create a large space in between so that it's like obvious where your stuff is versus where the other person's stuff is. Like, there are things you can do. Just like try and make an effort. The next one is when people bother me when I'm off the clock. Now, okay, I get it. It's not always obvious when someone's off the clock. You know, not everyone makes it obvious. But if you start to ask me a question or something and I tell you, hey, I'm sorry, I can't help you, I'm off the clock, please respect that. Don't try to argue with me and be like, oh, well, you can still help me. Like, why are you so lazy? Like, your generation is so lazy. Like, I'm gonna talk to your manager. Like, don't do that. By the way, if you didn't know, it is literally illegal to work off the clock. And if I work off the clock, the store's gonna get in trouble, I'm gonna get in trouble, and I'm gonna get fired. So I literally am not allowed to help you. So talking to my manager is not going to do anything because the manager is just going to tell you, oh, she's off the clock, she can't help you. Like, breaks are legally required. I'm legally required to have a break. It's not me being lazy. If anything, it's the opposite, because I've been working hard all day. I deserve a break. But legal stuff aside, if you've ever worked retail before, you know that breaks are absolutely sacred. They are probably, like, you're on your feet for 8 hours or more a day. And your break is the only time you get in your entire shift to actually sit down and chill out. And I don't know about you, but I really value that time because my feet get tired so easily from standing all day. I really value the time that I sit down. Retail has got me tired 24/7, 365, or 366 this year. Retail makes me tired all the freaking time, so please let me have my break. My break is absolutely sacred, and I need that break, so please do not bother me when I'm on my break. Thank you. The next one is customers who don't read the screen. Like, you know, like the little pin pad where, like, you insert your card. You'll be surprised to know how many people do not read the screen. Like, they will insert their card and they'll stand there awkwardly and they'll wonder why it's not doing anything. If you just look at the screen, you will see that there are some things you need to press on said screen in order for your payment to go through. And yes, I know it's dumb. You should just be able to insert your card and it goes through. But I'm sorry, I do not make the system. That is above my pay grade. I'm not in charge of that. So just look at the screen. It's not that hard to do. Just look at the screen and you will see that you have to press a little button that says pay. And then you also have to select which payment method you're using so that it knows. And this also goes for people who try to insert their cash before, like, doing anything, and they wonder why, like, the thingy is not working. You know, like, it's not that hard to just look at the screen. Now, I'm not talking about people who are blind or something. If you're blind, I get it. Like, I'm not talking about, like, if you can't see the screen because you're literally disabled. I'm talking about people who have the ability to look at and see the screen, yet they choose not to. Or, not that they choose not to, but they just don't think about it. Like, they don't think that they, like, just look at the screen. So next is kids at checkout. I'm not talking about just kids in general. I'm talking about mostly, like, kids' behavior. Like, if your kid is well behaved, like, that's not an issue. Like, I know people have kids. And I'm not blaming you for bringing your kids shopping. Like, I know people do that. I know that's a thing. sometimes kids are badly behaved, and I'm not gonna blame kids for this. I blame parents who don't parent their kids, or like, this is a very common thing, especially at Target. Well, also at Five Below, because Five Below also has a lot of like toys and stuff. But sometimes like a kid will be about to get like a new toy or something from the store, and when it comes time to check out, you know, they have to give up their toy for a moment so that I can scan it. And I get that like kids' brains are not fully developed, so again, I don't blame kids for this, I blame parents. But when I need to take the toy from the kid for just a moment so I can scan it, kids will just start screaming. Parents have a responsibility to mitigate this behavior. Maybe don't get your kid a new toy every time you go out shopping. Maybe if you don't teach your kid to expect a new toy, maybe they won't be so materialistic, you know? I don't know. I don't expect kids to be perfect, but like parents, like please, I don't know, parent your kids better. And I'm not gonna be there, I'm not gonna be the type of person to tell parents how to parent their kids. Like when I'm doing my job, like I'm not gonna say anything to the parents, but that's why I'm saying it here in this video, because here on this video, while I'm not at work and I'm off the clock and I'm filming a video for you guys, this is where I can spill all my frustrations. Next is when people come in several minutes before close, and then they decide that this is the perfect time to take their sweet time and do their hour-long shopping trip. No, that is not how this works. The stores don't work like restaurants. You know, restaurants, like they wait until everyone's finished eating and then they close. Stores are not like that. Stores close when they say they're closed. Like if you Google a store's hours and it says it's open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., the store is closing at 10 p.m. sharp. It's one thing if like you're coming in 5 minutes before close and you have like one thing to get, and you know exactly what that one thing is, and you know exactly where it is, and it's like this one thing, and it's like something you really need in the moment. That's one thing, okay? But if you decide that 9:55 p.m. is the perfect time to do your grocery shopping, no, it's not. It's not, okay? I get that people work late, but also, I'm sure you have days off. I'm sure you do not work 7 days a week. I'm sure there's days off where you have time to go do your shopping that's gonna take an hour, okay? This is something that happened at Target all the time. Like, the Target closes at 10 p.m. and I would have shifts that went till 10 p.m. And it's like, I would just be like wanting to go home, okay? Like, that's all I want to do is go home. And someone would come to my lane at 9:59 with their cart full of stuff, and it's like, seriously, like, this is not the time for this. Like, if you work late, like, you have days off. Like, I'm sure you have days off, okay? So do that on your day off. Like, come in at like 2 p.m. or something, not 9:55 p.m. please. You have 14 hours a day to do your shopping. Next, this one isn't like something, my phone fell. This one isn't something that like people do. It's just like an annoying thing. But I hate awkwardly shaped items that are hard to bag, okay? And yeah, this is something you just have to deal with when you're a cashier, because not everything is gonna be nicely shaped. But here are just some examples of things that I hate bagging. And a lot of this stuff is Target, because Five Below has like mostly smaller stuff, so it's not that big of a deal. Hangers. I actually like got to a point where I stopped bagging hangers because they were just too difficult to bag. Also folders. Not so much that they're awkward to bag, but more that they're just really flimsy, and so it makes bagging them difficult because they don't want to cooperate with you. And I worked at Target literally during like smack dab during back to school season last year, and so a lot of people were buying folders, and so I had to bag folders a lot, and they're annoying to bag. Next one is when people treat stores like a bank. Like when people will, like if someone pays in cash or something. I'm talking so much, my throat is starting to get dry. But when people like pay in cash or something and I start to give them their change back and they're like, no, like actually I want it all in ones or all in fives or something. like, okay, like in that case, like I will give it to them if I have like enough of what they're asking for in the drawer at that particular time. But still, like, it's annoying to deal with. Like, just go to a bank or something, or even worse. I actually had this happen to me at Target, but like people who will, like, they don't even buy anything. They literally just go up to me and they're like, can I have like cash back or something? Like, I'm sorry, but I physically cannot, like, there's physically no way for me to do that in the system. This is not a bank. This is a store. The only way for me to process like a payment for you, like I can't have you like insert your card and give you change back in return. This is not an ATM. Like, in order for you to pay, like give us a payment of some sort, you have to buy something, because this is a store. This is not an ATM or a bank. This is a store where you pay for things in exchange for a product. That is how stores work. There's no way for me to be able to process a payment like on your card or something if you're not buying anything. Like, there's literally no way. Like, I cannot do that. Like, as much as I wish I could help you, I can't. Like, and I can't make the system do that because I don't have any control over the system. So please just go to the bank. Like, if you want like cash back or something without like having to buy something, literally just go to a bank. That's what banks are for. And if it's the weekend or something and banks are closed, just do it over the week. Like, why do you have to walk into Target? Why do you think Target is gonna like be able to give you like be able to like be an ATM for you? Like, it's not, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. Now, that being said, Target does have the option to give you cash back. Like, if you use a debit card, you can get cash back. And like, that's an option, okay? But you have to actually buy something. You can't just treat it like an ATM. That's not, like, the system doesn't work that way. There's literally no way for us to do that for you. I'm sorry, but that's just how it works. Just go to a bank, okay? Just go to a bank and do that, or find an ATM nearby. Target is not an ATM, so please don't expect us to be an ATM. Thank you. Next. When people bring their own bags, but they don't tell me that they brought their own bags until I'm done scanning their stuff. Or when people like put their bag at the end of, like, behind all their stuff on the belt instead of before their stuff, and they don't tell me, okay? Like, don't expect me to read your mind and just know that you brought a bag. Like, last time I checked, mind reading was not part of my job description. Like, I'm a cashier, I'm not a psychic. I just got really snarky there. But basically what I'm saying is, if you brought your own bag, tell me, and tell me before I scan your stuff, because guess what? Guess what? What I do by default, unless you tell me otherwise, what I will do by default is I will scan your stuff and I will put them in the plastic bags that we have, like, we have stacks of bags, and I will put them in the plastic bags unless you tell me otherwise. And guess what? If I finish bagging your stuff and then you tell me, then you tell me that you brought your own bag, then I have to then go take everything out of the bags, and then guess what? Those bags get wasted anyway, because I can't put them back in the stack, because like I can't easily do that. I can't put them back in the stack to then reuse them, so they get wasted anyway. So you're not really helping the environment, are you? Okay, the next one is items with no barcode. It would make our jobs a whole lot easier if you made sure, like, if before you went to checkout, you make sure that all your items have a barcode. Or like when you're picking out your item, like, make sure you're picking one that has a barcode. It's one thing if it was the last of that item there and it doesn't have a barcode, then we figure out other things to do. If you bring an item to checkout and it doesn't have a barcode, then I have to then wait for you, like, after I tell you, I'm sorry, this item doesn't have a barcode on it, I can't scan it, I have to then wait for you to go across the store to get another of the same item that does have a barcode on it. And then it just makes the whole thing take longer. So you can avoid that by paying attention and making sure all the things have barcodes on them before you go to checkout, okay? Okay. The next one is barcodes that are impossible to scan. Now, I'm not blaming customers for this. This is one of those pet peeves that I don't blame customers for. You know what? I blame the manufacturer for it, because like, why do you have to make barcodes so hard to read? This was one. This is a prime example. No pun intended because of what I'm about to say. So you know those little Prime drinks? Like, if you don't know what they are, Google them. But it's like a drink. That's all I know. I've never actually drank it before. I just know that it happens to be a drink. And people would buy these at Target literally all the time. So basically the bottle has like these little ridges in them. Why did the manufacturer decide to do that? I don't know. But they have these little ridges of them. And the barcode is on the label and it gets inside the ridges and then it distorts the barcode, so the scanner has a hard time reading it. Why do the manufacturers have to do that? Why? I hate that so much. Or when the barcode is like the same color as the label. Barcodes are not supposed to be aesthetic. Barcodes are supposed to serve a purpose, and that purpose is for the scanner to be able to read it, okay? Or products with like a whole bunch of tiny barcodes, and they're like always so tiny too. And there's like several different barcodes and you have to guess which one is the correct one. I hate that. Next one is customers who overshare. Now, I'm not talking about customers who just like start a conversation with you or whatever. Like, I don't mind conversations. Personally, I'm not the type of cashier who will like have a conversation with everyone, because I just like to focus on doing my job, and not everyone is in the mood to talk, and so but if a customer starts a conversation with me, like, I don't mind it, like, I will engage in it. But when customers like start to overshare details about their life that I really don't need to know, okay, this is not the worst pet peeve, like, there are worse things that people do, but it's just like, why are you telling me this? Like, I'm not your therapist. I'm your cashier. I'm the random person who's scanning your stuff. Like, you don't even know me besides my name. The only reason you know my name is because I'm wearing a name tag. I don't know you. You don't know me. I don't even know your name. Like, I'm an NPC to you. I'm a non-playable character to you. So why are you sharing this information with me that I don't need to know? I had a guy, when I was working at Target, I had a guy who, as I was scanning his items, he was just rambling to me about like his divorce or whatever, and I'm just like, I was trying to be polite and I was trying to like make it seem like I was interested, so I was just kind of playing along and just being like just nodding. But the whole time in my head, I'm just thinking like, why are you telling me this? Like, I don't need to know this. This is too much information. This is none of my beeswax. I don't need to know about this. I'm just like a girl in her early 20s who has a job of cashiering. Like, I'm not your therapist, okay? Next one is coming to my lane when my light is off. Now again, this one only applies to Target. This one does not apply to Five Below. But at Target, you know, if you look up at like the lane numbers and you see that some of them have lights on, the light indicates that that register is open. If the light is off, that means that register is closed. So please do not come to a lane that has a light that is turned off, okay? Like, just because someone is standing there does not mean that their lane is open. If someone is standing there and their light is off, that means that they are currently checking out the last person, and then they're about to go on break or clock out or whatever. So please, like, pay attention to the lights. Do not come to my lane if my light is off. Thank you. Like, I am trying to finish this last person up so I can go on my break, which I have been so looking forward to for the past 4 hours. And the last one, this video is probably like half an hour long already. The last one is when people let their bags pile up, okay? I literally have nowhere else to put your bags, okay, besides the bagging area. So don't let them pile up. Like, please help me out a little bit. As I make a pile of bags on the bagging area, take those bags and put them back in your cart, okay? Don't just let them pile up. Because then what's gonna happen is if the pile gets too high, then something is gonna fall down and break. And that will not be my fault, because you were the one who should have put your bag away, but no, you decided to stand there texting on your phone instead, okay? Now, if you're like busy like continuing to load your stuff onto the belt and you can't help me in that moment, then that's one thing, okay? But if you're done loading your stuff and you walk over, and like, please don't just stand there. Like, put your bags back into your cart so that I can have more room for the rest of your bags, okay? And then I don't have to break anything that you just paid for, because I know you're gonna go complain about that, okay? Okay. So that is gonna be the end of this probably 30-minute long video. I'm sorry, this is really ranty and sassy. Like, I got really sassy in this video, and yeah, but these are pet peeves, so yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys also work retail or have worked retail before, I hope you guys find some humor in this or can relate to this. And also, if you work retail, tell me your own retail pet peeves in the comments below, because maybe it might be one of my pet peeves too, because guess what? What I said in this video wasn't even all of my retail pet peeves. Those were just a few. So anyway, that is pretty much it. And my throat is starting to hurt because I've been talking so much, so I think I'm gonna go. So that is pretty much it. Don't forget to have a wowzerfying day full of wowzerness, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, y'all. Woo!